For our next story, let's shift our focus from East Africa to the central part of the continent. In the Central African country of Chad, there has been a deadly assault on the presidential complex. Several gunmen attempted to storm the head of state's residence in the capital of N'Djamena. Now, this attack came just hours after China's top diplomat had met with Chad's president in the presidential palace. Authorities have said that at least 18 attackers and 1 security personnel were killed after members of an alleged 24-strong command unit tried to overrun the presidential complex.
What happened was an attack by 25 assailants, 24 to be precise, a sort of group of bandits who arrived armed with machetes and knives. They descended violently, stabbing the 4 guards who were present. 1 guard was killed, 2 others were seriously injured, and 1 sustained a lesser injury, though his life is not in danger. After that, they managed to penetrate a short distance inside the presidency, and one of the guards began firing, alerting the other guards stationed nearby.
Reports suggest that the armed unit opened fire inside the president's complex on Wednesday evening, and all roads leading up to the complex were blocked with tanks visible on the streets. Now, Chad's president, Mohamed Idris Deby Itno, was also reportedly inside the complex at the time of the attack. The situation was later brought under control, with the government saying that the attempt to destabilize Chad had been fully eradicated. The government also assured the people that there was no security threat weighing on the country and that it would annihilate those who question the integrity of Chad. Now, according to media reports, the attackers were considered to be members of the Boko Haram terrorist group that is known for its mass kidnappings, killings, and human rights abuses, and has wreaked havoc in the Lake Chad region of the country. But the government said that they were probably not terrorists and were just a band of intoxicated men wielding knives and machetes.
Personally, I don't find it credible that this was a terrorist act, as I was at the scene. However, the public prosecutor will provide clarification on the matter. In reality, they're a group of amateurs. They had no weapons of war. Their attempt was disorganized and completely incomprehensible.
Now, the attack on the presidential complex coincided with the official visit by China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi, who was at the presidential complex just hours before the attack occurred. Wang Yi is on an Africa tour this week to advance Beijing's already sizable influence across the resource-rich continent as the West's influence wavers.
You have arrived at a time when Chad has decided to free itself from the tutelage of foreign forces on its territory and to turn resolutely towards development. Who better than China to be an effective development partner?
Interestingly, the assault has occurred about a week after Chad held its parliamentary elections. The elections were supposed to restore democracy, but the main opposition boycotted it. Results of the elections, which were held to consolidate President Deby Itno's grip on power, are yet to be announced. Now, President Deby Itno has been Chad's head of state since 2021, after his father, President Idris Deby, was killed by rebels in the same year. He legitimized his power following a presidential election in May of 2024, which the opposition called a fraud. Recently, he ousted troops of the Central African country's longtime partner, France, and has forged closer ties with Russia, along with West African countries such as Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. But despite forging newer partnerships, the country has continued to see attacks from militants and terrorists. And with this latest attack on the oil-producing nation's presidential palace, doubts are growing about the worsening security situation in Chad.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.